Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Assalamu alaikum rahmatullah. Special series on the signs of Qiyamah, part 2. InshaAllah we'll go through all of the signs of the minor signs and those signs which are continuous. This hadith is narrated by Hakim and Tabarani as well. The Prophet ﷺ said in the hadith, إِذَا اقْتَرَبَ الزَّمَانِ كَثُرَ لَبْسُ الطِّيَالِسَةِ. As the end of time approaches, there will be much wearing of shawls. وَكَثْرَةِ التِّجَارَةِ. There will be excessive trade and wealth as well. وَعُذِّمَ رَبُّ الْمَالِ بِمَالِهِ. The wealthy will be lauded because of their wealth. وَكَثْرَةُ الْفَاحِشَةِ. There will be excessive obscenity, vulgarity as well. إِمَارَةُ الصِّبْيَانِ. Subhanallah. He said, there will be leaders who are children, young people unqualified. وَكَثْرَ النِّسَاءِ. There will be excessive numbers of women in those times, unjust leaders. And listen to the following one. وَيُرَبِّ الرَّجُلُ جَرْوَ كَلْبٍ خَيْرٌ لَهُ مِنْ أَنْ يُرَبَّ وَلَدًا لَهُ. A man rearing or looking after someone's dog, a neighbor's dog, will be better than rearing and looking after his own child. Subhanallah. وَلَا يُقَّرُ كَبِيرٌ. The elders will not be respected. وَلَا يُرْحَمُ صَغِيرٌ. The youngsters, youth will not be shown mercy. وَيَكْثُرُ أَوْلَادُ الزِّنَا. And there will be excessive numbers of children which will be born out of wedlock, out of zina. And so much obscenity that the Prophet said, حَتَّى إِنَّ الرَّجُلَ لَا يَخْشَى الْمَرْأَةُ عَلَى قَارِعَةِ الطَّرِيقِ. That a man will commit sin upon another woman in the pavement and the pathways. And the best of those people will be that person who will say, if only you would hide that person, or you would do it somewhere else, please. And then he ﷺ said in another hadith in Bukhari, إِذَا رَأَيْتَ الْحُفَاةَ الْعُرَاةَ الْعَالَةَ رِيَاءَ الشَّاءَةِ يَتَطَاوَلُونَ فِي الْبُنْيَانِ فَانْتَظِرِ السَّاعَةَ. When you will see barefoot people, naked sheep herders, and they'll be vying and competing with each other to make tall buildings, فَانْتَظِرِ السَّاعَةَ. Then await the hour. And in another hadith in Bukhari, the Prophet said, إِذَا أُسْنِدَ الْأَمْرُ إِلَى غَيْرِ أَهْلِهِ فَانْتَظِرِ السَّاعَةَ. When leadership and imarat will be given to those people who are not worthy, and then wait for the hour. إِنَّ مِنْ أَشْرَاطِ السَّاعَةِ أَنْ يَتَدَافَعَ أَهْلُ الْمَسْجِدِ حَتَّى لَا يَجِدُونَ إِمَامًا يُصَلِّي بِهِمْ. Muslim Ahmad relates, and Abu Dawud as well, this hadith. The Prophet said that one of the signs of the hour is that people will be in the masjid, will be fighting each other, until they will not find an imam to lead the prayer. Fighting each other is become a common thing amongst the masajid as well. May Allah save us. Another hadith by Kanzul Ummal, إِنَّ مِنَ أَشْرَاطِ السَّاعَةِ إِنْ يُلْتَزَمُ الْعِلْمُ عِنْدَ الْأَصَاغِرِ. One of the signs of hour is that knowledge, ilm, will be sought from the young. And what does that mean? It means that the possibility of the meaning is that people will be asking those who are not qualified in knowledge. Otherwise there were amongst the Sahabas who were young. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gave them ilm. But in the end of times, there will be people who will not qualified. They will sometimes be young and even not qualified. Unqualified du'at, unqualified ulama as well. And people will be asking them from knowledge. Another hadith, Bukhari, ضَلُّوا وَضَلُّوا. They will keep making fatwas, and they will making themselves astray and make others astray. إِنَّ مِنْ أَشْرَاطِ السَّاعَةِ أَن تُقْطَعَ الْأَرْحَامِ. One of the signs of judgment, day of judgment, will be the severing of kinship and ties. وَيُؤْخَذُ الْمَالَ بِغَيْرِ حَقِّهِ. Wealth, money will be taken without any right. وَتُسْفَكُ الدِّمَاءِ. There will be widespread of bloodshed, and relations will be complaining about their relatives that do not return anything to them, and the person will go around asking and nothing will be given to their hand. Another hadith by Tabarani and Majma' Zawaid, the Prophet said, لا تقوم الساعة حتى يجعل كتاب الله عارا. That the hour will not be established until the book of Allah, the Quran, will be dishonored. ويكون الإسلام غريبا. Islam will become strange to other people. وحتى تبدو الشحناء بين الناس. Rancor and bitterness will become common amongst people. وحتى يقبض العلم ويهرم الزمان. Ilm will be taken and time will be ruined. People will be wasting their time in other things, frivolous things. The age of man, وَيَنْقُصُ الْعُمْرُ الْبَشَرِ, the age of man will decrease. Fruits and years will decrease. The treacherous people will be trusted, will be known as trustworthy. وَيُتَّهَمُ الْأُمَنَاء, and yet the trustworthy will be doubted. وَيُصَدِّقُ الْكَاذِبُ وَيُكَذِّبُ الصَّادِقُ, the liar will be trusted, and the truthful one who tells the truth will be denied. وَيَكْثُرُ الْحَرْجُ, unjust killing will be increasing. People will be building palaces and rooms and houses وَتَطَاوَلْ وَحَتَّى تَحْزَنَ ذَوَاتُ الْأَوْلَادِ, until so much so that parents will be saddened and depressed because of the responsibility of parenthood. And لِيَقُوقُ أَوْلَادِهِنَّ, and because of the disobedient children, parents will be full of stress. وَتَفْرَحَ الْأَوَاقِرِ, while the single people, the barren people, the people who don't want children, they'll be full of joy and full of happiness in somewhat way. وَيَظْهَرُ الْبَغْيُ وَالْحَسَدُ وَالشُّحُّ وَيَهْلِكَ النَّاسِ وَيَكْثُرُ الْكَذِبُ وَيَقِلُّ الصِّدْقُ. Subhanallah, listen to the words. The rich will be manifest by envy, and people will be ruined. Lies will increase, and truthfulness will decrease. وَحَتَّى تَخْتَلِفَ أُمُورُ بَيْنَ النَّاسِ, there will be ikhtilaf, there will be differences between people, and because of that, people will follow their desires. وَيُقْضَى بِالظَّنِّ, and people will be decreeing and making decision because of out of guesswork. وَيَكْثُرُ الْمَطَنُ وَيَقِلُّ الثَّمَرُ, rain will increase, but the fruits will be less. وَيَغِيدُ الْعِلْمُ غَيْضًا وَيَفِيدُ الْجَهْلُ فَيْضًا, ilm will be there, but there will be a lot of ignorance as well. وَيَكُونُ الْوَلَدُ غَيْضًا وَالشِّتَاءُ قَيْضًا, a child will be full of rage, full of anger, and the winter will be warm as well in those days. وَيَقُومُ الْخُطَبَاءُ بِالْكَذِبِ, the speakers will be established upon lies. They'll be telling lies all the time. وَيَجْعَلُونَ حَقِّي لِشَرَارِ أُمَّتِي, whereby they make my truth to be evil before my nation. May Allah save us. Another hadith, Imam Muslim Ahmad, لا تقوم الساعة يخرج قوم يأكلون بألسنتهم كما تأكل البقر بألسنتها. Subhanallah. He said that I will not be established until you'll see people who will eat with their tongues as meat will be eaten with their tongues. It means that people will be hypocritically flatter others in order to take the wealth. Another hadith, the Prophet said, لا تقوم الساعة حتى يعز الله فيه ثلاثا, the hour will not be established until Allah Ta'ala makes three things rare. Number one, dirhaman min halal, a halal income. وعلم المستفادة, beneficial knowledge. وأخا في الله عز وجل, and a brother for the sake of Allah only loves another brother for the sake of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. It means that these three things will become so rare that it will be as if they were not present. Another hadith by Bayhaqi and Kanzul Ummal, إذا اجتمع 20 رجلا أو أكثر أو أقل فلم يكن فيهم من يهاب الله في الله فقد حضر الأمر. He said, when you gather around 20 men more or less, and there's not one person who has the fear of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, then know that the end of time is present. من أشراط الساعة أن يمر الرجل بالمسجد فلا يركع ركعتين, narrated by Abu Dawud. One of the signs of the hour is that a man will pass by a masjid and yet he will not pray 2 rakat in there. He will use the masjid as a road, as a shortcut to go to another place, but he will not pray 2 rakat nafil even. Another hadith by Kanzul Ummal, تكون في آخر الزمان عند اقتراب الساعة أشياء, with things before the end of time that will astonish you. فمنها نكاح الرجل امرأته وأمته في دبرها. Man will commit anal sex, which is forbidden by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and the wrath of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is upon that person. ومنها نكاح الرجل رجلا. Subhanallah. And the man will marry a man, that is which Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has forbidden for another person. And a woman will marry another woman. Look at the hadith. The Prophet said, he never said that they will do zina, they will marry. The word nikah comes, And we know that nikah has become so much. Now we know how common it is today. And then about them the Prophet said, وَلَيْسَ لِهَؤُلَاءِ صَلَاةٌ مَا قَامُوا عَلَى ذَلِكَ حَتَّى يَتُوبُوا إِلَى اللَّهِ تَوْبَةً نَصُوحًا. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will not accept the salah and any ibadat until they do sincere tawbah to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Another hadith by كنز العمال لا تقوم ساعة حتى يتحول الشرار أهل الشام إلى العراق وخيار أهل العراق إلى الشام. The hour will not be established until the evilest people of Syria, Sham, will move to Iraq, and the best of people of Iraq will move to Sham, Syria. Another hadith by كنز العمال يأتي على الناس زمان لا يسلم لذي دين دينه إلا من فر من شاهق إلى شاهق. A time will come unto people so much so that he who has religion will not be safe in it, except that person who flees from one lofty place to another, or from one rock to one rock, like a fox flees from a lion's cub. This is the end of time when you will see وَذَلِكَ فِي آخِرِ الزَّمَانِ. This will be the end of times. إِذَا لَمْ تُنِلِ الْمَعِيشَةُ إِلَّا بِمَعْصِيَةِ اللَّهِ. That livelihood and having a job and having good income will come except in the disobedience of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. وَإِذَا كَانَ ذَلِكَ حَلَّتِ الْعُزْبَةِ. And when that happens, people think to themselves, it would be best for me to be single, unmarried. يَكُونُ فِي ذَلِكَ الزَّمَانِ هَلَاكَ الرَّجُلِ عَلَى يَدَيْ أَبْوَيْهِ إِذَا كَانَ لَهُ أَبْوَانِ. In that time, the ruin and destruction of a man will be at the hands of the parents, if he's got parents. If not, at the hands of his partner or children. If not, again, at the hands of his relatives and neighbors. And why is this? يعيرونه بضيق المعيشة ويكلفونه ما لا يطيق حتى يورد نفسه الموارد التي يهلك فيها. Because they will rebuke him, telling off, and they will criticize him of the hardship of earning as a living. They will make those choices unworthy responsible until he reaches a place himself that he is ruined. May Allah save us. يأتي على الناس زمان يكون حديثهم في مساجدهم في أمر دنياهم فلا تجالسوهم فليس لله فيهم حاجة. Rahul Bayhaqi has narrated this hadith. That a time will come unto people when worldly matters and talk will be talked about in the masajid. The Prophet gave the advice, do not sit with them. Allah has no need for them. يأتي على الناس زمان يستخفي المؤمن فيهم كما يستخفي المنافق فيكم. Ibn Sunni has narrated this hadith, and Ibn Kanzul Ummal as well, that a time will come unto people when a believer, a mu'min, will be hidden as a hypocrite is hidden with you. Subhanallah. A person who is a true believer will be hidden amongst the people. You will not know them, just like the munafiq in those days were hidden amongst the Sahabas. Another hadith narrated by Muslim, Sinfani min Ahlin Dar, Lam Arahuma. The Prophet said, there are two kinds of people, but I have not seen them. Number one, قوم معهم صيات كأذناب البقر يضربون بها الناس. People with a whip like the tail of a cow, from which they will strike people. And this will be interpreted as the security people and the police of the tyrannical governments. Secondly, وَنِسَاءٌ كَاسِيَاتٌ عَارِيَاتٌ مُمِيلَاتٌ مَائِلَاتٌ رؤوسهن كأسنمة البخت المائلات لا يدخلن الجنة ولا يجدون ريحها. Secondly, women who are clothed yet naked, with inclining humps, heads like the hump of a camel. They will not enter Jannat and will not find the scent of Jannat even. So women who will be clothed at the same time they will be naked. May Allah save us. One day the Prophet said, Ya ayyuhan nas afala ukhbirukum bi ashrat as-sa'a. Shall I not tell you about the signs of their judgment? فقال ما إليه Salman Farsi radhiyallahu anhu said, Ya Rasulullah, please tell us. He said, min ashrat as-sa'a ida'atu as-salah. One of the signs of their judgment will be prayer will be lost, will be destroyed. People will be destroying their prayer. People will not be praying. وَالْمَيْلُ مَعَ الْهَوَىٰ. People will be inclining towards their desires. It's all about their desires and passions and pleasure. وَتَعْظِيمُ رَبِّ الْمَالِ. People will honor the person who has more wealth. Salman asked, Ya Rasulullah, will this happen really? He said, yes, this will happen. عند ذلك يا سلمان تكون الزكاة مغرمة. People will be considering zakat as a bill, as a tax. Additionally, the lie will be believed, the truthful one will be denied. The deceptive will be trusted, and the trustworthy will be denied, will be doubted. People will talk about roibida. The Salman said, Ya Rasulullah, what is roibida? He said, يَتَكَلَّمُ فِي النَّاسِ مَا لَمْ يَكُنْ يَتَكَلَّمُ. Those people who will talk about what they should not talk about. Frivolous things. وَيَذْهَبَ الْإِسْلَامُ إِلَّا فَلَا يَبْقَى إِلَّا اسْمُهُ. Islam will wane and nothing will remain except in its name. وَيَذْهَبَ الْقُرْآنُ فَلَا يَبْقَى إِلَّا رُسْمُهُ. And the Quran will disappear and nothing will remain except its script. Nothing in the people's lives, even though they are adorned with gold. وَيَتَسَمَّنُ ذُكُورُ أُمَّتِي. Look at the hadith. The men of my nation, my ummah, will become fat and obese. وَيَخْطُبُ عَلَى الْمَنَابِرِ الصِّبْيَانِ. The youth, young people, children will deliver khutbahs on the pulpit. One possible meaning is that the unqualified people will be giving speeches. Sibyan means a child, meaning someone who has not studied sufficiently to become a scholar. In the ذَلِكَ التَّزَخْرَفُ الْمَسَاجِدِ كَمَا تُزَخْرَفُ الْكَنَائِسُ وَالْبِيَعِ. The masajid will be excessively adorned and beautified as the churches and synagogues are adorned. وَتَكْرُ الصُّفُوفِ مَعَ قُلُوبِ الْمُتَبَاغِضَةِ وَأَلْسِنٍ مُخْتَلِفَةٍ وَهَوَاهٌ جَمَّةٍ. Though you will see many rows, safs will be many, but the hearts will hate each other. They will be detesting each other. Their tongues will be at odds, and their whims and desires will be great. Salman is saying, Ya Rasulullah, وَيَكُونُ ذَلِكَ Ya Rasulullah. This will happen. He said, نعم وَالَّذِي نَفْسُ مُحَمَّدِ بِيَدِهِ عند ذلك يا سلمان يكون المؤمن فيهم أذل من الأمة. Furthermore, dear Salman, the believer, the mu'min, will be the most humiliated of them on that day. يذوب قلبه في جوفه كما يذوب الملح في الماء مما يرى من المنكر فلا يستطيع أن يغيره. Subhanallah. Their hearts will dissolve in their chest like water, like salt in water, because of the sins they see in front of them, the corruption and the munkar they see in front of them, and yet they're incapable to change it. ويكتف الرجال بالرجال. And a man will satisfy their own needs with another man. والنساء بالنساء. And a woman another woman as well. ذلك يا سلمان تكون أمراء فسقا. In those days the leaders will be corrupt. وبزراء فجرا وأبناء خونة. Disgraceful ministers and advisors, and the trustful will be deemed treacherous. And why is this? يضيعون الصلوات. They will discard the salat. ويتبعون الشهوات. They will be following their desires. فإن أدركتموهم. And if you meet them in those days, what you do? You فَصَلُّوا صَلَاتَكُمْ. You just pray your salah in the correct time. عند ذلك يا سلمان يحج الناس إلى هذا البيت. You will see people, O Salman, doing the Hajj in this house. تحج ملوكهم لهوا. The kings will attend in order to pass time and for amusement. وأغنياهم للتجارة. The rich will come just for trade and business. ومساكينهم للمسألة. The poor people will come just to beg. وقراءهم رياء وسمعة. And the reciters and the qaris will come just to show off and just to show off. من اقتراب الساعة إذا رأيتم الناس أضاعوا الصلاة وأضاعوا الأمانة. One of the signs of the judgment when people discard their salah, discard trust. واستحلوا الكبائر. They will try to legalize haram things and say that it's okay to do it. They'll try to buy scholars with their money and their wealth. وأكلوا الربا وأكلوا الرشا. There will be people consuming interest and riba and consuming bribes as well. واتبعوا الهوى. People listen, obey their desires. وباع الدين بالدنيا. They will sell their deen for worldly purposes. واتخذ القرآن مزامير. Look at the hadith. The Quran will be made into instrument by singing or background noise, as today we see. والمساجد الطرقة. Masajid will be taken as road paths just to walk by, nothing to pray in there. والحرير لباسا. Men of my ummah will be wearing silk. وكثر الجور وفش الزنا. Injustice and zulm will become prevalent. والتهاونوا بالطلاق. Humiliating divorce will be the norm. People will be mocking and just doing left, right, center talaq all the time. وقلة العلماء. Ulama will decrease. The true scholars will be decreasing. وكثر القراء. You will see reciters of the Quran all the time, prevalent. وقلة الفقهاء. But those people who understand will be decreasing. واتخذوا القينات. Female singers will be unfollowed all the time. واستحلت المعازف. Haram amusement will be deemed lawful and halal. وشربت الخمور. Alcohol will be widespread. وعطلت الحدود ونقصت الشهور. The hudud penalties will be transgressed. The months are experienced as decreased. وشاركت المرأة زوجها في التجارة. The wife will take part in the husband's business and trade. وَتَشَبَّهَتِ النِّسَاءُ بِالرِّجَالِ وَالرِّجَالُ بِالنِّسَاءِ. Women will resemble men, will they be copying men, and men will be resembling women. May Allah save us. وَأَطَاعَ الرَّجُلُ امْرَأَتَهُ وَعَقَّ أُمَّهُ. A man will obey his wife and at the same time disobey his own mother. وَقَرَّبَ صَدِيقَهُ وَأَقْصَى أَبَاهُ. He'll be good to his friends, his best mate, his close friend. وَأَقْصَى أَبَاهُ, and he'll be disobedient to his father. وَصَبَّ آخِرَ هَذِي الْأُمَّةِ أَوَّلَهَا. And the last portion of this ummah will curse the first part of the ummah. وَأَكْرَمَ رَجُلٌ اتَّقَى شَرِّهِ. A person will be respected not because of his taqwa or because of his God fearing, but because he's fearing of his evilness. وَكَثْرَةِ الشُّرْطِ. Police will be increasing. وَسَعَدَةِ الْجُهَّالُ مَنَابِرَ. There will be juhal, jahil, ignorant people on the pulpits of the masajid. وَرَكَضَ عُلَمَاءُكُمْ إِلَى وُلَاتِكُمْ. People will be satisfied with the unlawful and make the unlawful lawful, make the haram halal, and they will make legal rulings according to their whims and desires. وَتَعَلَّمُ عُلَمَاءُكُمْ الْعِلْمَ يَلِجِيلُوا بِهِ دَنَارِيرُكُمْ وَدَرَاهِمَكُمْ. The scholars of those days will teach you religion in order to take money from you. They will have no ikhlas. وَاتَّخَذْتُمُ الْقُرْآنَ تِجَارَةً. Look at the hadith. The Quran will become a business for you, means of transaction for you. May Allah save us. وَضَيَّعْتُمْ حَقَّ اللَّهِ فِي أَمْوَالِكُمْ. You will discard the right of Allah in your own wealth and mal. وَصَارَتْ أَمْوَالُكُمْ عِنْدَ شَرَارِكُمْ. Your wealth and money will go to the evil people. Why is this? One of the reasons, وَقَطَعْتُمْ أَرْحَامُكُمْ. Because you will be severing your kinship, your own family ties. The scholars say that these are all the second type of conditions and the signs of their judgment, and they are all currently present. Indeed, they increase day by day, so that they reach their purpose, or nearly do. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to remove tribulation fitna from us. It was reported by Bukhari from Zubayr ibn Adi that he said that we complained to Anas ibn Malik radiallahu anhu about the harm of Hajjaj bin Yusuf, who was a tyrant that time. What did Anas say? He said, "Isbiru, innahu la ya'ti alaykum zamanun illa alladhi ba'dahu sharra minhu hatta talqaw rabbakum sami'tuhu min nabiyyikum sallallahu alayhi wasallam." He said, be patient, be sabr, have sabr, because there will not come to you a time except the one following it will be more worse than that until you reach your Lord. I heard this from the Prophet sallallahu alayhi wasallam. In another hadith, the Prophet said, "Inna min wara'ikum ayyamu sabr." The days of patience will come for you. الْمُتَمَسِّكُ فِيهَا يَوْمَئِذٍ بِمِثْلِ مَا أَنْتُمْ عَلَيْهِ لَهُ كَأَجْرِ خَمْسِينَ مِنْكُمْ. He who clings to Islam and the deen of Allah subhanahu in those days will attain similar to what you attain with the like reward of 50 of you. In one hadith, Abu Kanzul Ummal, Abdullah ibn Amr ibn As narrates that the Prophet said, كَيْفَ بِكَ إِذَا بَقِيتَ فِي حُثَالَةٍ مِنَ النَّاسِ قَدْ مَرِجَتْ عُهُودُهُمْ وَأَمَانَتُهُمْ. He asked, how will you be when those times will come that the remnants of humanity and Saniyat have gone back on their agreements, and you will be opposing each other, and yet you are the same? Then he joined his fingers and said, Abdullah ibn Amr said, what do you order us to do, Ya Rasulullah? He said, Ilzam baytak, stay in your homes. Wamlik alayka lisanak, refrain from speaking. Take what you know is good and leave what is evil. Another lengthy hadith of Imam Muslim, Hudayfa radhiallahu anhu says, Ya Rasulullah, hal ba'da hadha al-khayr shar? Will there be any evil after this goodness? He said, yes, call us to the doors of hell. Du'atun ala baba jahannam. Man ajabahum ilayhi qadhafuhu fiha. Whosoever answers their call will be thrown into Jahannam. Then he asked, Sifhum ya Rasulullah, describe us to them, Ya Rasulullah, who are these people? Hum min jildatina. They will have the same skin as ours. They will be speaking the same language as ours as well. فَبِمَا تَأْمُرُنِي إِنْ أَدْرَكَنِي ذَلِكَ. Ya Rasulullah, what do you order me to do if I find this generation, if I find this time? What did he say? تَلْزَمْ جَمَاعَةَ الْمُسْلِمِينَ وَإِمَامَهُمْ. Adhere and join the Jama'at, join the majority of the believers and their leaders. وَإِمَامَهُمْ. فَإِن لَمْ تَكُنْ لَهُمْ جَمَاعَةٌ وَلَا إِمَامٌ. And if there's no majority or there's no leader, what should I do? Then he said, فَاعْتَزِلْ تِلْكَ الْفِرَقَ كُلَّهَا وَلَوْ أَنْ تَعُدَّ بِأَصْلِ شَجْرَةٍ حَتَّى يُدْرِكَكَ الْمَوْتُ وَأَنْتَ عَلَى ذَلِكَ. What if there's no majority or there's no leader? Then he said, leave these groups completely, even if you have to bite down on the roots of a tree and remain like that until death comes to you. In another hadith, the Prophet said, in narrated by Muslim, إِذَا رَأَى مِنْ أَمِيرِكُمْ شَيْئًا يَكْرَهُ. When you see from your Amir something which you do not like, what should you do? فَلْيَصْبِرْ. Let him have patience. Because he who turns away from the Jama'at, and if he dies in that state, dies in a state of ignorance and jahiliyyah. So may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala give us tawfiq, understanding of these, reflect of this hadith, and regarding the times of fitna, we should obey the Amir, whoever the Amir is, in those times, and cling on to the Jama'at al-Muslimin. As always, brothers, remember this podcast is just a supplement to the enormous work of da'wah and should not be used as a substitute, as da'wah is amongst the people, not on a screen. These were the minor signs, and the major signs, if we have time, InshaAllah, we'll go through them as well. Please like and subscribe and share with others. Until next time, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah.